As many of you are aware, a decision has been made by our medical staff to medically disqualify Jovan Smith from contact sports. This decision was made final on Monday, October 8th, after Jovan met with a team of doctors. Jovan has a condition called spinal stenosis. Jovan was born with an unusually narrow canal or hole in which the spinal cord runs through. Jovan was diagnosed with this condition during the 2010 season. He had surgery in the spring of 2011 in an attempt to reduce his risk of spinal cord injury. Jovan was cleared to return to competition here just this past summer. Unfortunately, Jovan experienced another setback Saturday night at Villanova. This setback has led to a medical decision to disqualify Jovan from competition. We are all thankful to God that his most recent episode will not affect Jovan's ability to live a normal, healthy, and active life. Jovan will remain a vital member of our program, and we will support him not only through his graduation date, but for the rest of his life. Personally, I've got great respect and admiration for Jovan's courage and commitment to our university and to our program. For the remainder of the 2012 season, we will recognize this courage and this commitment with a red helmet sticker, JS4. Thank you, Jovan, and God bless. Looking back to last weekend, I really thought that our football team took a legitimate step forward. Tough place to go play, tough place to go and win. I had known that we hadn't had a lot of recent success up in Philadelphia against Villanova. Villanova was coming off a very impressive win the week before, and I really thought we'd have our hands full. I felt for us to win, we had to get off to a fast start, and we did that. I really communicated that, preached that all week long. Our ability to start the game on defense with a 3-and-out, our ability to block the ensuing punt, and then our ability for our offense to take the ball on a 6-play drive for a touchdown to give us an early 7-0 lead, I thought was really critical in our attempt to be successful. Going in the locker room 14-14 at half, I felt really good. I really thought that we would be able to come out in the second half and find ways to take control of the football game. We came out in the second half. I thought we were extremely physical on both sides of the ball. Kendall Gaskins ran real hard. John Lobb was productive the entire game. Our offensive line really started to take control of the line of scrimmage. Defensively, they had a hard time sustaining drives against us, in particular in the second half. We were really, really good and strong down in the red zone. Darrell Hamilton's 2 interceptions there in the fourth quarter, the first one leading to our decisive final drive to give us our 28 points in the game, and then the last one to secure the victory were both really, really significant plays in the football game. Really enjoyed the experience, really excited about the win, and we certainly celebrated post-game. Obviously, the road continues to get tougher. In the next 2 weeks here, we're facing programs whose coaches just won their 100th games this past weekend. University of New Hampshire has got an outstanding football program, outstanding coach. They're tough, physical, and talented. It's a tough place to go play. They've got an 8 consecutive year playoff record going into this season. They've been ranked nationally for 118 consecutive weeks. So we certainly will have our hands full heading up to New Hampshire. I'm excited and looking forward to the challenge, and hopeful that our football team continues to make improvement. At this time, I'll take any questions that we have today from the media.
Hey, Danny, how do you arrange and implement what you have in your backfield now offensively?
Well, fortunately, we have a quarterback that has shown a real ability to run the ball. All right, so we do have a ball carrier back there. He had 20 carries in the game Saturday. I was really impressed with what Kendall did in the second half of the football game at Villanova. He's obviously a hybrid fullback, tailback type of player. We've got Jacoby Green, who is going to be a really special player for us, true freshman. Jacoby's made contributions already at this point of the season. His role will obviously be significantly increased. The thing that Jacoby's done that most people probably haven't been able to acknowledge is what he's done in special teams. He's a phenom. He covers kicks, holds people up on the punt team. He is just into it. He is an exciting young athlete. And then James McKinney, another big back that's in the mix and who will be given more and more opportunity to be evaluated and opportunity to compete. Seth Fisher's been a fullback for us. He's got a lot of special teams plays, kind of been a short yardage type of fullback. His role will increase as Kendall spends a little more time, at halfback. So I think we still have, plenty of variation options. Obviously, Jovan's a gifted athlete and a fine, committed man of character, young man. So we're going to miss Jovan. I'm not minimizing that. But I think we've got answers, and I think we've got combinations that will allow us to continue to be successful.
Coach, if you take a look at New Hampshire's game against Old Dominion, it would seem there's enough for everybody in that tape for your defense to see what they did in building a big lead, and for your offense to see what kind of opportunities they might have, like Old Dominion had in coming back.
Well, I think what you take out of games like that is you kind of see a team at its very best, and then the ebb and flow of not being at their best. And it's real similar to our game with Old Dominion. If you just kind of took out the film and watched the third and fourth quarter, you'd sit there and say, wow, this Richmond team's really good. If you watch the first half, that would not be your response. So I think it's important to always be able to see a team at its best, because then your players can truly acknowledge what it is they have to be prepared for. You always have to be prepared for your opponent to give you their best shot. Well, there were certainly some segments in that game where you could see just how good that New Hampshire team is. So I think there's some real value in that for our players to have etched that into their memory.
Coach, Al Grove brought you to Virginia, sort of. I wonder if you could share your thoughts on developments this week and what he has meant to where you are now.
Well, I appreciate the question, John. I just got off the phone with Al. Called Al, about an hour ago, and kind of went to the fourth ring. I was waiting for the answering machine to come in, and I was thinking about what message I was going to leave, and then he picked up, "Hey, Danny, how you doing?" And I said, "Hey, Al, I hope I'm not interrupting your afternoon movie." And he said, "Well, actually, I did just watch a movie," and we exchanged some thoughts and some conversation and dialogue that I thought was very constructive for both of us. As you look at my staff, without sitting here and just doing the math, but the majority of the guys on my staff I've either played for or coached under Al Grove. I had the privilege of both playing for and coaching under. So, we were all kind of taken back. It was the same day that the indoor facility up at UVA had caught fire. So someone came down the hall, "Did you hear the news?" What news? Well, the roof caught on fire, and then just a couple minutes later, there was another news flash. that Coach Groh had been let go. I think Al has done an awful lot for an awful lot of people. And, as he moves into the next phase of his life and his career, I do think it's important to know that there's an awful lot of us out there that owe an awful lot to him. When I transferred to Wake Forest University, he, for some reason, found reason to believe in me. And he believed in me as a student athlete. Then he believed in me as a young man. And he really began to mentor me as a coach. And, all of us need people like that in our lives. And then I had the opportunity and privilege to work with Coach Groh at Wake Forest, in New York with the Jets, and then at the University of Virginia. Thank you.
Coach, guys get injured all the time. Why did you feel like it was important to honor Jovan with a helmet sticker?
Well, that's a good question. I think that the most significant thing would be if you had been around here for a length of time, which I really had not been. There's some history here where the young man was faced with numerous decisions to make. And each time he decided that he wanted to continue to compete. And I'm honoring that. That's what I'm really honoring, the thought that under these adverse conditions, he continued to want to compete and stay loyal to his teammates, and I respect that. I think the nature of the injury is significantly different than when you're talking about a guy with a shoulder injury or a knee injury, and you start thinking about what all goes through a young man's head. Obviously, the protocol was followed from A to Z. These decisions are never made by the head coach. I trusted the process. And as I got into the program here, I was informed on his status and the possibility of his status change. When I came here, he was medically not cleared to participate. I think the other thing from Jovan's perspective is he can sit there and have no regrets. If he did not come back to play once they cleared him, he may have had some regrets later. Maybe I could have done more. And more specifically, I had a number of my seniors, a number of my captains come to me with wanting to do something specifically to honor Jovan and his commitment. And this was the direction and the decision that we decided upon.
With the 3 home games here on the horizon, how big would another road win be coming to that home stretch?
Yeah, well, it's really huge. As we go into week 7, this is our 5th road game, which is kind of odd to think about. But, for us to be able to win on the road in conference play again would really, really be significant. Winning at Georgia State, winning at Villanova, and then to be able to win at New Hampshire would give us 3 road wins in conference play. The competition doesn't change, after this trip, but you're right, the venues do, the travel does, and the scheduling does in that. We come into fall break next week. It offers a little bit of time on Monday and Tuesday for the student athletes to, have a little downtime, followed by an open date, which is usually a very positive thing on your schedule, especially when you're into week 7, week 8, and then home, and then traveling down to Williamsburg. So, I think it's kind of evident a win here would certainly advance our cause this year. And like I've been saying, I'm really looking forward to the competition, and I really expect it to be a really good game.
Coach, coaches push the positive. That's part of your job. What is the positive or the benefit of 5 road games in 7 weeks? And can you sell them on, hey, been there, done that here in the last month, just want more?
Well, yeah, there's a lot. Resilience. you're always trying to, find reasons to validate the things that you are educating or preaching to your team. We had a theme that I introduced in August. I went through my notes. I think it was August 18th. I talked to the team after practice in the middle of camp, and I gave them a presentation on being a road warrior and what it means to win on the road and how you win on the road and all the different little subtle I know they're listening, but it's just the middle of camp, and they're, why is he talking about that? It's kind of the thought. They're listening. But you plant the seed, you introduce it, and as you sit back and look at the schedule, I know, for us to have any success, we're going to have to get some wins here early on the road, knowing that the second half of the schedule is a little more friendly as far as being at home. So, you offer a formula and a routine, a regiment that you think is conducive to winning on the road, and then all of a sudden they have some success with it, so it builds some confidence. It starts to validate a little bit that, maybe this is one of the reasons why we were able to win, and then you try to duplicate it and repeat it. Now every road trip's different. Kickoff times are different. Travel's different. Opponent's different. But I think it offers a thought process to the athlete, preparation, and then there's an element of being resilient, going on the road and winning in a hostile environment under tough conditions builds character and I think unity, and I think that's part of what's happening to our football team right now.
Anything else for Coach Rocco?
All right, guys, thank you very much.